Today, we're going to talk about the first appearances and key issues for the greatest day of the week. New Comic Book Day, June 23rd, 2021. So let's get started. I'm Don Kerr, and this is the SmallTown Collectibles YouTube channel. So before we jump into the first appearances, the key issues, the covers, all the cool books coming out this week, I want to ask you to do me a favor and hit that subscription button if you're not subbed to the channel already. Hit that notification bell so that you get notified when I put out new content. If you like the video, hit that thumbs up button and leave a comment below and let me know what books you're looking at this week. Is there anything that I left off my list that I need to be looking at? So as I say every week, I want this video to be a conversation between myself and the community about the new books that are coming out this week. I have got a ton of good recommendations of books that I've picked up and read and now are on my pull list just because of this video, and that's the point of the video. So I'm going to quit babbling on. Let's jump into our covers for this week. So our covers this week, I've actually got a few this week. There were several covers that stood out to me, and it's pretty Stray Dogs heavy because I love Stray Dogs. But the first one is Stray Dogs number 5, the variant cover by Tony Fleece. Or Flex, I can't exactly know how to say it. Put glasses on, I can't see it. It's Fleecs, and the cover art on this one is inspired by Friday the 13th. So it's a really cool cover. And then there's another variant cover by Tony Fleece. That's what we're going with, is Fleece. And the cover art is inspired by the movie It. So two really cool covers for Stray Dogs number 5, one of my favorite series to read right now. And as I say all the time, one of the most surprising series that I read. I absolutely love it. I never dreamed I would love Stray Dogs so much. Next up, and I think there's several beautiful covers for this, but the one that I really like, and this is Wonder Woman Black and Gold number 1, and this is the variant cover art by Warren Liu. It's a minimal trade dress variant. I've seen it on Comics Elite website. I've seen it on a few different websites. But it is gorgeous. I love this cover, and I actually pre-ordered it when I saw that it was coming out. But there are a bunch of covers from this Black and Gold series with Wonder Woman. Something about those covers or those colors together look really cool. So yeah, definitely Wonder Woman Black and Gold. Be on the lookout because there's plenty of those and plenty of dope covers to pick up this week. Then we've got Bitterroot number 14, and this is the variant cover by Stanford Green, and this is the cover art that's celebrating Juneteenth. Very important, I guess, moment for our black community in the United States to be able to celebrate and have a national holiday for the abolition of slavery. And I'm all about supporting that and supporting all our different communities in America. And so I'm definitely picking up this Bitterroot. And Bitterroot's a great title. But Bitterroot number 14, the Juneteenth variant. Then we've got on our list, we've got Mr. Miracle, the Source of Freedom number 2. And there's a cover B variant by Fico Ossio. It's a cardstock cover. It's kind of like a split. Got Mr. Miracle on one side, and then like the mask is coming off on the other. It's a really cool cover. I love it. And then Philadelphia number 14. It's a cover V variant by Jonathan Wayshak, and it is dope. It is fire. Like, I love it. Already ordered it. It's already in my cart at Midtown Comics. One that I'm definitely picking up, and I freaking love that cover. I think it is sick. And then last is the Silk book coming out this week, and there's a 1 in 25 variant by Jenny Friesen. Again, it's got the red background. Kind of got silk laying in her web, and like I said, I'm a sucker for these red covers. So definitely one I'm picking up. It's actually one I've already put in my cart at Midtown as well. It's a 1 in 25. It's going for about $36, so it's going for a little over ratio, but definitely a cool book. So more covers on the list this week than I normally have, but that's them. And let's jump into her first appearances. So we've got a few first appearances this week. First from DC, we've got Checkmate number 1, and this is the first cameo appearance of Damon Rose, an Underworld assassin. Really looking forward to the Checkmate series, and I'll talk a little more about it later in the video. But you do have your cameo first appearance in that one of Damon Rose. Next up is Infinite Frontiers #1, also from DC. This is the first appearance of Extract, a bounty hunter. You also get the debut of new powers for Roy Harper, and it's a reintroduction of Psycho Pirate with a new costume. Then we've got Mr. Miracle, the Source of Freedom #2, and this is the first full and cover appearance of Navir Free, the child of Scott Free and Big Barda. You also get the first team appearance of the Corps, the minions of Navir. So, cool book. I love Mr. Miracle. Big Mr. Miracle fan. Been read the first one. I liked it. Definitely picking up the second one here this week. And you get a first appearance. So, a little extra something. Then you've got the Spawn Universe #1. And this is the new a one-shot, which is a prelude to the new Spawn Universe expansion. There's going to be a bunch of different titles. King Spawned out in August, The Gunslinger out in October, and then they end the year with a team book called Scorched. In this book, you get the first appearance of 2 new villains. Now, I couldn't find the names of these villains, only that there was the first appearance of 2 new villains. Even Key Collector actually had a splash page where you could actually see pictures of them, but I could not find a name anywhere. You also get the return of Cygor and Calistro in this one. Next up on our list is a book that I normally would not purchase, okay? And that is Gamma Flight #1. And Al Ewing is writing this book, and I am all about me some Al Ewing right now, so I'm definitely going to pick this up. You get the first full team appearance of Gamma Flight, Puck, Absorbing Man, Doc Sasquatch, Tatiana, and Charlene McGowan. You also get the first appearance of Stockpile as a Gamma Mutate, and the reintroduction of Scar. So I'm definitely going to pick this one up, give it a read. I'm definitely going to buy it. I'm not even going to read it at the store. I am going to buy it because, like I said, I'm all about some Al Ewing. Looking forward to him jumping over on Venom and what he's going to do there. But his Hulk run, Immortal Hulk run, has made me a big fan, and I'm definitely excited to check out Gamma Flight #1, and it's another book where I get some first appearances. And then last up, we've got Marvel Voices Pride #1, and that is the first appearance of Somnus. So several books, guys. If you're into first appearances and you like collecting those, you've got several good ones this week, I think. You know, some of them are your kind of just run-of-the-mill, probably never going to be anything, but you got a couple there that has some potential down the road. So with that said, let's jump into our second printings. All right, so I just got 2 books this week on the second print front. I got Electric Black #1, the second print. I really dug the first Electric Black. The second print cover's okay. It's nothing necessarily that I'm probably going to pick up myself, but I definitely wanted to put it on here because that was a cool book. And a lot of times the print runs are lower on these, second printings, obviously. So that might be a cool book to pick up. Then you've got Stray Dogs #1, the third print. And this is cover art inspired by the film Scream. So not only do Stray Dogs have these, it has been a great story, but they really do, they've been doing all these like horror movie homage covers that I really dig. And you get that here with this third print of #1. I've been picking all these up, and it is the Scream homage, so I'm definitely down with that. I remember Scream very well, and it was one of my favorite horror movies back in the day. All right, so that's the second printings this week, guys. Let's jump into the honorable mentions. A few books on the honorable mention list this week. Not as expansive as what I normally do. Just wasn't as many books out there necessarily that I thought I wanted to pick up, but I definitely still have a few on the list here. The first up is Good Luck #1, and this is a 4-issue limited series about the fate of the world hinging on a group of luckless teenagers. So that sounds fun. So that's a book I'm probably going to pick up. Then you've got a one-shot called Imogen of Wandering Way #1. A writer named Imogen will come face-to-face with the worst of the war after helping a young refugee find his family who had fled from the Nazis. So that's a one-shot. I'm probably going to read through it at the store, at the comic book store. Don't know that I'll end up picking that one up, but the synopsis grabbed my attention, and that's why I included it here on the honorable mentions. And then you've got, and I don't even know how to say this, it's MFKZ #1. It's a comic book series based on characters from the Netflix movie MFKZ. So it's usually in the reverse, right? There's a comic book and then Netflix does a show, but in this case, they're doing a comic book based on characters from this movie that came out on Netflix. So that's MFKZ number 1. And then you've got the continuation of Teen Titans Academy number 4, another really fun series that I've enjoyed reading. You've got 3 students right now who are investigating the identity of Red X. Then you get Silk number 4, where you get the origin of Saya Ishii. And finally, or not finally, Star Wars Darth Vader number 13. That's a War of the Bounty Hunters tie-in. I've been picking up all those tie-ins and all that storyline. Really been enjoying that. And then now finally, Fantastic Four Life Story number 2. And this era is the 70s. And I am not a huge Fantastic Four fan, but I picked up the first one because when they did the Spider-Man life story, I really enjoyed that. You know, you kind of go through the different time frames with the characters, and I really enjoyed the first one. So I'm definitely grabbing number 2 and hoping I enjoy it just as much. So that's Fantastic Four Life Story number 2, covering the 1970s. All right, so that's our honorable mentions this week, guys. Let's jump into our top 5. So number 5 on the list this week is Mr. Miracle, The Source of Freedom number 2, written by Brandon Easton. As I discussed in first appearances and key issues, or the first appearances, you get the first appearance and cover of Navir, Free, the child of Scott Free and Big Barda, and the first appearance of the core minions of Navir. Now, I already mentioned it, but this is a book I'm really looking forward to this week. I enjoyed the first one. I'm a Mr. Miracle fan. Back when Kirby was doing Mr. Miracle, that was one of my favorite runs. So I'm definitely picking this book up. Like I said, the first one was good, so I'm looking forward to grabbing this one, and that's why I put it at number 5 on my list this week. Okay, now number 4 is Checkmate number 1. Now this is a series written by Bendis, and as I mentioned earlier, you get this first appearance or cameo of Damian Rose. Now I'm going to read you the synopsis, and I thought this sounded really cool. Like, I dig the cover. I like Bendis. I actually enjoyed his run on Superman. I know a lot of people didn't, but I did. But this is the synopsis. The dark forces of Leviathan have torn through the DC universe, and now no one can be trusted. No one, not even the person writing to you about this book. That's why you find out in Justice League number 63, spoiler, that Green Arrow has been secretly funding a group called Checkmate, because not even the Justice League itself can be trusted. The mysterious Mr. King has helped Green Arrow assemble the greatest team of super spies the world has ever seen. Lois Lane, The Question, Robin, Steve Trevor, Manhunter, Bones, and Talia al Ghul. Who will outsmart the smartest people in the world before they destroy everything? That sounds freaking awesome to me. And like I said, I really enjoyed the Bendis run, and Checkmate number 1 just sounds cool. Like I said, I dig the cover. I like this group of characters that they have put together here, and so Checkmate number 1 made number 4 on my list this week, and I'm looking really forward to checking it out. All right, number 3 on the list, and as long as this book is being put out, it'll probably make this top 5 list, and that is Something is Killing the Children, number 17. It's the origin of Erica Slaughter continued. Probably my favorite book of 2020 was Something is Killing the Children. Continued on. 16 was great. I really enjoyed it. Like, it's one of those deals where you're reading it and you run out of pages and you're like, damn, I would like to keep reading it. So number 17 comes out this week, and I'm definitely going to pick it up, and it made number 3 on my list. All right, number 2 is Batman Reptilian number 1. Now, I had a hard time kind of figuring out where I want to put this on my list. But anytime a new Batman book comes out, it's one of the only things that drives me nuts about Batman. It just seems like there's 1,000 Batman titles. But I always end up buying them because I like Batman. And I honestly end up enjoying these kind of out-of-continuity stories as much as I do anything about Batman. So you've got this Batman Reptilian number 1. I'm definitely going to check it out, give it a read. I'll bring it home, but I'm looking forward to it. And so that's what I try to do with this top 5 list are the books that I'm looking forward to, and that Batman Reptilian number 1 was one of those books. So that's why it made number 2 on the list this week. All right, guys, we're at the end of our top 5 list here, and number 1 on the list this week is Vinyl number 1 from Image Comics, being written by Doug Wagner. And this is a 4-issue limited series about a serial killer whose best friend is an FBI agent. And the FBI agent is kidnapped by a death cult and must be rescued. So, checks all the boxes for me. 4-issue limited series. I'm going to get a beginning and a conclusion reasonably quick. You got a serial killer whose best friend's an FBI agent. FBI agent gets kidnapped and now the serial killer has to go find him. Like, that sounds fun to me, and that is a lot of times what I'm looking for in books like this when I pick them up. So, vinyl number 1, and also dig the cover. Have like vinyl records behind him on the cover. I don't know if it's going to tie into music in any way, but I think it looks cool. So that's why vinyl number 1 is number 1 on my list this week. All right, guys, that is it. A lot of great books out there this week to pick up. A lot of good first appearances, a lot of good covers. It never gets easier on the wallet, does it? Ever. So I hope this list helps you guys make some of your choices on New Comic Book Day. Again, remember to, kind of comment and let me know if there's any books you're looking at that I'm missing. Like I said at the beginning, I really have found some killer titles from people suggesting that, and that's exactly what I'm looking for. So, guys, I hope this helps you. I hope you have the greatest New Comic Book Day. And as I always end these things, until next time.